Hey everyone, Brienne here, and I got my mystery yarn club in the mail today. I think my camera's crooked, and it's open because this is take 2 of the video. So before I begin, I took my 2 girls, they're 6 and 8, to watch How to Train Your Dragon 3 today. And if you haven't seen the first and second one, even though they're animated and they're kid movies, they're amazing and I love them. So the 3rd and final installment was released, I think, a week ago. So I took them to watch it today, and it's one of those super happy but kind of sad endings. And I think it was extra sad because I know that there won't be another movie. And so I just bawled my eyes out. It's just a constant waterfall, like the last 20 minutes of the movie. I mean, still go see it. It wasn't sad. It was one of those super happy, but when you have to let someone go so they can go on and bloom and be their own person. So it's a good thing, but it's also like, it's just heartbreaking. All my makeup is like cried off today, and I haven't put it back on because it's like a rainy day, and why would I bother with that on a rainy Saturday? Okay, so let's see what I got in my package. So this is the, what is it, March Mystery Yarn Club, and I don't know what it's called. I don't know what it's called, but I will find out. So let's see here. Oh, and I'm in my bedroom because my husband is downstairs, like, listening to YouTube videos, and he likes to, like, make funny faces at me whenever I'm doing my videos, and it's really distracting. So I came up to my bedroom to do the video. Okay, so the March Mystery Yarn is absolutely gorgeous. And I actually got this second skein back here because I was going to knit my mom some socks, but I think she might actually like this one more. My mom loves blue, especially like bright teals and like aquas and stuff like that. So this will be up her alley. And, okay, so let's unwind this. Okay. So it's just this nice, I don't know what it's, I guess you would call it a teal with some dark navy and like purple speckles. And then you have a little light, 2 little light patches that is a super soft, maybe like a minty color. It's not white, kind of a minty with all those same like heavier speckles, different colored speckles that have yellow and black, and then the same darker navy and like raspberry type speckles. And it's so soft. And Cheryl just put up a spoiler pic of the April Mystery Yarn Club, and I try my hardest to not go peek because I honestly like to be surprised so that my my expression is, first time for the camera camera ready, right? And but I peeked, and so if you like to be surprised, then don't go take a peek. But I went and looked, and it is like amazing. And the only hint I'll give about it, in case you haven't looked at the spoiler pic, is that if you remember back in November, the mystery yarn skein was called Apothecary, and it had all of those deep, like rich colors, and it was just totally my jam. In fact, the colors in Apothecary was very much like what's the colors on my bed, like the greens, the browns, the deep red, the goldens, kind of like a harvest, very fall colors. I like those. And this one, it's Cheryl told me it was dyed in the same manner but with different colors, and so it just like totally spoke out to me, and it's gorgeous, and I cannot wait to get in the mail next month. But, so that's super exciting, especially if you liked Scarecrow and maybe it wasn't Apothecary, maybe it was Cornucopia. One of the two, because I remember really liking both of those. Anyway, okay, so what else I got was Cheryl sent this OOK. This was originally what I had picked out because I was going to make my mom socks. Oh, she would totally love this one too, but I really like it, so maybe I want to keep it for me. Let's open this one up. So it has teal, but it's like a deeper teal than the Mystery Club. See, this one's just like a shade or two brighter. And it has a little bit of like a gray purple, a purple gray right there with some speckles. You can see speckles there. And then it kind of goes on to even lighter kind of, it's definitely a gray, like a violet-ish gray, to another section of deep teal, to like a darker version of that violet gray. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Let me see if I can hold it. Oh, I want to say that she said that she has a couple of skeins of these and that she'll put them in a shop. Don't quote me on that, but Cheryl and I talk a lot, so it's very possible I don't remember something or I'm thinking about a different colorway. I have no idea which one to knit because of course we all know Mother's Day is coming, and I know Mother's Day is still like 2 months away, but with everything else going on, if I don't get it started now, then you know I won't get it finished in time. And what is currently going on, and I should have brought it up here to my bedroom, is that we are doing the knit along. We have the Hypnotic Yarn group Facebook page now. My cat's playing with cords. That's probably not safe. The group page where we can all interact and be closer, better friends. And in that group is where we're doing the knit along a bunch, as well as daily posts, which I'll talk about. So the knit along, we are knitting the Lounging Top and Fingering by Hoki. I hope I said her name right. And it's a summer top, so it's sleeveless. It's knit in sections. Well, it's knit in one piece, but in sections to begin with. So you knit the back shoulder first, and you actually cut your yarn, and then you knit the left shoulder, and then you join the back shoulders to make your whole back yoke. Then you cut that yarn, so then now you just have a back yoke, and you pick up stitches to do the left front from your shoulder. And so you knit the front left yoke, cut your yarn, and then you pick up stitches along the shoulder from the back. You knit your right front yoke, you connect those along the neckline, and then you knit the full front yoke. So you knit, depending on how long your arm side needs to be, then you only knit the front yoke until you've reached the depth for your arm side, and then you'll end up connecting your front and back yokes to knit straight down. So it's really fast. It took me a while to figure out exactly what was going on, but once I figured out how the construction was working, it made a lot more sense, and it's knitting really fast. I've been trying to stay ahead of the game so I can help people whenever they have questions. But we just started about, my cat likes to sit in my window over there. We just started, so you have plenty of time to hop in. The way that I did this knit along, I have never done a knit along with anybody else. I've never seen one, so I don't know how other people do it, but how I decided to do it was, we have a final deadline, which is the end of April, I believe. I can't remember the exact date, but it's towards the end of April to give you plenty of time. And I put in optional mini deadlines along the way to maybe help people stay on track. So most of the deadlines, are about 2 weeks long. And so the first section that we're in right now is gathering your materials. She's crazy. So right now it's buy the pattern, buy your yarn or from your stash, and knit a gauge swatch and pick your size. And then we'll jump into completing the back yoke, and then the next deadline is to do the front yoke, and then finish to hopefully keep people on track as the goal. So I'm knitting ahead in case people have questions, because the construction was confusing at first, especially the only sweaters I've ever knit have just been raglan style, and where you never cut your yarn, you're not building a yoke, and you know, more of a basic construction. So this has been fun and really knowledgeable for me. As a sewer, it's totally made sense as I've knitted along, and how all the construction is coming together, and I love learning how to do that in knitting, not just sewing. So it's been awesome for me. I've really enjoyed it. So I know that there's a lot of people knitting along with us. I would love for you to as well. And Cheryl has graciously offered a free skein to everyone who completes and posts a completed photo of your sweater, whether it's completed flat or completed on action shot, as I like to call it. Every completed sweater will go into a random drawing, and one person will win a random skein of yarn on your choice of base. So you tell Cheryl what base you want, and you'll get something surprised in the mail as an incentive to join us. So I hope to see you there. That's going on in the Facebook group. What else we're doing in the Facebook group is every day we have a little prompt. So for example, today is Saturday. Today is like Socktastic Saturday. Post a picture of, you know, the socks that you're knitting, and which I haven't done that yet today. I need to, so as soon as this video is done, I'll hop down, I'll take a picture of socks that I have been knitting on for a while now, and get that posted. I love hearing from everyone and seeing everyone's projects, so please post along with us. I think tomorrow's Sunday. Sunday is like finish projects? I can't remember, but we'll have another prompt tomorrow. So every day is some new prompts, so that we can interact and get to know y'all better, which is the whole purpose. What else? So that's going on, the knit along. As usual, I will wind this up and start knitting so you can see what it looks like knitted. And I'll probably go ahead and make my mom some socks with this. The March Mystery Yarn Club. Cheryl also sent me, and if you watch Cheryl's and Jessica's weekly videos that they do every Wednesday, Cheryl was talking about that she got the Flexi Flips, and as she had said that she's never used double pointed needles before, and so she wanted to try these out. She tried them. She said they weren't really for her, so she sent them to me. I love double pointed needles. It's one of the first ways that I learned how to knit, and so I was like, well, yes, I want them. So Cheryl sent me her Flexi Flips to try out, and these are size 1, so it will be perfect to cast on with my mom's new socks. So these have they're kind of a mix between circulars and double pointed needles. So you have 3, and they have a you know, like a little bendable here, so that instead of having to use 5 needles, you can just use 3. So you have your work on these 2, and then, you know, you're knitting with this one. So I'm really excited to try these out. You know, whenever I cast this on and start working with them to make my mom's socks, then whenever I come back, not only will I show you what this looks like knitted, but I'll let y'all know what I think about the Flexi Flips. and if they're easy to use, or if I have to look up a tutorial, or, you know, whatever happens. So thank you, Cheryl. I cannot wait to try them, which I'm going to do it right now. This is my cat, Jewel. She has been occasionally in my videos. All right, well, I will be back in a little bit. Hey ladies, we are back. I have wound the March Mystery Yarn Club. I asked Cheryl what she named it, and she has called this one Limerick. And I started knitting a sock for my mom for Mother's Day. So here is what Limerick looks like knitted. Let's get that out of your way. It's absolutely beautiful. My mom is going to love them. She loves teals and like beachy colors, and it's just absolutely perfect for her. So this sock, it's upside down. This sock pattern is the same sock pattern that I showed not that long ago that I started working for myself. It's called Prairie Spring by Ravenwood Fiber, and that's what the pattern looks like. It's a super simple one stitch cable, and of course one sock is knit cable to the front, one sock is knit cable to the back, so that they're opposite, as you can tell. And the cabling goes down through the leg, and then after you finish the heel flap and turn, and you're working on the foot, you don't create new cables. You only take your existing ones off until they fall off to the sole stitches, and you know there's no cables on the sole of the pattern, so then they just kind of drift off towards each other. And I think it's an absolutely beautiful pattern. It's very simple, very easy, something you can watch TV to, or you know, do in the car or wherever you knit. Soccer practice, like me. Well, my kids don't do soccer, they do jujitsu, but you know, I knit everywhere because that's free time that I can knit. Very, very easy to do. I just lost my train of thought. So the sock pattern. Oh, I started, since I had the pattern out for myself to knit myself a sock, I thought, oh, my mom will absolutely love this pattern, and because it's beautiful. So I just used the same pattern for her. I am now down to, this is the front of the sock, and the back, I just now started doing the heel flap. I'm only like 2 rows in, so you can't tell that I'm on the heel flap yet. And I am using the Flexi Flips that Cheryl sent me, and I absolutely love them. They are my jam. So if you are used to knitting with double pointed needles and you like them, these are a great alternative, especially if, well, not only is it only 3 needles versus 5, they give you a nice, like, just movement of your work, and you don't have to worry about, you know, as much your other needles like poking through or overlapping and you having to untangle your needles. You don't have to worry about that. So this, because each one has a little cable in between them, in between the 2 ends, this is basically equivalent to 4 double, you know, DPNs with your 5th right here, but you only have 2. Each of these, let's see, yeah, let me get it on the white background so you can see. Each of these needles has 2 ends that are different. So you can, yeah, there you go. You can tell. This end right here is the tip is more blunt and it's shorter. Knitting socks, this has not been my favorite because it's too blunt and too rounded to pick up the fine yarn like fingering. Now, if you had a larger sized needle and you were knitting with like worsted or something like that, or if you were just knitting with a heavier yarn in general, the more rounded kind of blunt end may not be as big of a deal. But you know, whenever you have such fine yarn, it's hard to pick it up with a blunt end. So this end over here, as you can tell, is longer and more pointy. And each of the 3 needles is like this. They have both ends. And so I've been knitting just with the longer, more pointy end whenever I start my next needle. So with double pointed needles, how my wonderful friend Justina had taught me how to knit was whenever you're knitting and you've picked up all the stitches from one needle and you're moving to the next needle, you knit with the same needle at least 1 stitch. So all your stitches are kind of rotating rather than only the same stitches always being on the same needles, because that helps minimize the runs in between your needles. So that's how I knit with double pointed needles. And knitting with DPNs can be a little bit slower because whenever you finish each needle, it's kind of a start and stop again. And so you have to do that 4 or 3 times, depending on if you're using 4 or 5 double pointed needles. So it can be a little bit slower. And then you know how sometimes you have to move the stitches from one end to the other and you might be untangling your needles. It's for me at least, it's a slower process than if I'm knitting around with a circular needle. So these are fast because you only have 2 needles plus your 3rd one for working. So you can just breeze through, the whole. So here's my instep. Breeze through the instep, or this is my sole actually, but breeze through these, breeze through those, and you don't have to work with, stopping so much and having to pick up your new needle and move stitches around and stuff like that. So for me, it's faster. And I like that they're small. I think that's, I've only tried Magic Loop once, and it wasn't that I couldn't do it, because I could, but it was during a project that I was actually giving away, and I knit a couple of rounds and I felt like I had runs on the sides. And so I didn't think with the project that I was giving away was the right time to learn a new technique, especially since I was experiencing some problems. And so I haven't picked it up to give it another chance. I don't know if I ever will or not, because I use tiny circulars if needed sometimes, but I'm gonna say that this is almost probably better than knitting a sock with tiny circulars. And the 9-inch sock circulars have been my jam since I discovered them. They are like golden to me, and I love them ridiculously. This might be better. I really dig these hard. If you are a person who's only ever done Magic Loop and you have tried double pointed needles and you didn't really like it, or maybe you don't like that you have so many needles, or you feel like you're fumbling, this probably isn't something that it would work out for you. I'm not saying it won't, but probably not. People who do Magic Loop seem to say it's like the greatest thing ever. Why would you do anything else? And maybe that's true. But if you like double pointed needles, I really think anybody would like these a lot, especially because if your hands start cramping, or if you have any type of arthritis or rheumatoid arthritis, or like carpal tunnel, or any other like hand problems like that, this is a lot easier than working with DPNs. So I think that this is now my go-to way to knit any and everything, because it's a mix between Magic Loop basically and double pointed needles. Here you don't have to knit the next stitch with your existing needle that you've been working with on the next stitch onto the next needle, to like what I was talking about where you rotate so that you don't get runs. I haven't been doing that, and I don't have any runs or anything like that. It's kept tight, which I'm glad of, because I was nervous for the first couple of rounds. I was let's see if I would, I mean, I'm working on the heel, so I'm not working on the round right now, but let's say if I was, you know, I would knit this stitch on this one before I started with using my next needle. I did that at first, and then you know, it's kind of hard to actually do that because then you have to move all the yarn around. So I stopped doing it, and it's been totally fine. It looks absolutely lovely. I'm totally awesome. So I highly recommend, if you like double pointed needles, and you want to try something else, that you'd probably really like these. So yes, I say Flex Flips are a total go. My absolute favorite. I'll probably only ever knit socks that way again. Okay, moving on. So, I go to my allergist twice a week to get allergy shots. And while I'm there, you have to wait for 30 minutes after every allergy shot to make sure you don't have any sort of negative reaction to the shot. So of course, this is a prime time knitting. And today I'm going to take, not the sock, but I'm going to take my knit along sweater, because I have not worked on it in a couple of days. In fact, yeah, I mean, this weekend I only worked on the sock. Didn't even work on my scrap blanket, which I typically do on Sundays. I wanted to get a nice portion of that sock knitted for y'all. So today, to my allergy appointment, I'm taking my knit along sweater. I just now added or connected the front yoke and the front yokes to each other. So that's why it's so tiny. So this right here is the back yoke, and then this will be the front yoke. And how you do it, you knit the back yoke first, and then you pick up stitches along the shoulders, and you add separately the front sides, and then you connect the fronts. And it's going really well. I absolutely love the colorway. This is Forgot My Umbrella. Cheryl's Forgot My Umbrella. I kind of think these were the last two skeins of it she had, but I love how springy and bright and just happy it is. So that's what I'm taking with me to work on today, to hopefully you knit the yoke, and then so you knit this for the distance that you need for your arm side to finish the yoke, and then you connect your sides. It's all looped together, and then you connect your sides, and then it'll be super quick just to knit in the round down the body. So that's what I'm working on. That's what it looks like. I will be doing a blog post with better pictures because that's kind of hard to see for the end of this week. And that's all I have right now. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you again next month. Bye.